It's hard though when you talk about the game to talk about really anything other than the Trent goal. But also, I don't think I've ever seen, Danny, in the history of football, a celebration analysed as much as what people have analysed Trent's celebration, because everyone thought, hey, if you're celebrating like that, it means you're signing, it means you're staying. But it could just be a case of he might be leaving, but hey, he still loves the football club. And it was a massive goal and a massive moment, given it was his first game back for a couple of weeks, wasn't it?
I think analysis of the celebration was inevitable.
Yeah. I was one of those. I'll hold my hands up and text my mates going, he's signing, come on.
All I can tell you is that footballers have said this for years, but I can confirm it. When you score a goal sometimes, especially an important one, something comes over you that you can't quite control. And you don't really know why. It can be anger, euphoria, passion, all mixed into these bodily functions. and you kind of do things and try, your facial expression sometimes doesn't actually tell the world what you're feeling, sometimes it does. Your body, you do silly celebration, you end up in the crowd. I've done that at Goodison. These things come over you that you can't, you look back on it sometimes and go, "What? Who is that man?"
Is there one that you look back on and going, "What was I doing?"
I've done a few. Well, I've been lucky enough to score some important goals, so yeah, I don't regret them. But you kind of look back and think, "Oh, what am I doing?" I think Trent's was not so thought through. I think it was a release.
Yeah.
I think it looked to me like a release of frustration at criticism, of judgment. Whether he goes or not, there's no doubt he loves the club. You can't not. What he's put into the club, he's a kid growing up there.
Liverpool fan.
Yeah, he loves the club. Now, whatever decision he makes and the politics around that, fine. But in that moment, he's scoring a goal that more or less gets his team over the line. Yeah. That's what came out of him. And mixed with the frustration. Around I think frustration around the situation of what it's causing. Do you know what I mean? That's the celebration.
If what we all think is going to happen does happen, and he's going to go at the end of the season and he's enjoying Real Madrid, is there a possibility, guys? And this is what I think should have happened. If again, there's no U-turn here. He's joining Real Madrid. There's an agreement in place. It's going to happen. I just think that certainly in January, when he was allowed to make contact with Real Madrid, that he should have come out and spoken. Because he's been very consistent throughout the whole season. I'm not going to speak. I'm not saying anything. I think it would have made everything so much easier for everybody if he just spoke. It didn't have to be an interview. It would even been an Instagram video where he just came out, guys, and said what's basically happening. He spoke about how much he loves the football club. I'm a boy Liverpool fan. I've lived my dream. But this opportunity, for me, my family, my life, my career, culturally, is an opportunity I couldn't turn down. Do you think, Danny, if you can, as a former player, put yourself in his position and you know your contract's run out, you know you've got that agreement with Real Madrid, would it not have just saved so much conversation, so much drama, if he was just honest with people and looked everybody in the eye?
Well, I've just shared the same sentiment with Mr. Simon Jordan on a
Great minds think alike, Danny.
And he didn't really agree with me.
Why?
Well, my first of all, my feeling around it was that if he did that, he's still going to take the flak, right? You're still going to get criticised because he's leaving the club, full stop. I think it would have put it to bed quicker.
Exactly that.
Quicker. It could have carried on for a while, but ultimately what the fans want is Liverpool to win the league. So if in January, the fans aren't going to spend every game at Anfield going for him. They're going to be still supporting the team, trying to get over the line to win the league.
100%.
And I think for him, it would have helped him put it to bed and not be constantly questioned and analysed and all those things.
We're analysing celebrations.
So I do think there's some benefit to it. And fans would have known, media would have known. The only thing for me was that I don't know him. Did he know for sure then? Had he made the decision? So why rush into it if you haven't? That would be, one of the big things. And probably, part of him maybe thought, God forbid I come out and say this, then we go on to mess this up, not win the league.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the brunt.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest thing where he might have thought, no. What do you think?
Well, I think, I think, like you, I have mixed feelings about it, Danny. One, he could have got ahead of it. But I mean, I remember Keegan when he left, and he announced it very early, and he got a fair amount of stick throughout that season from the crowds. So there's that. But I think Danny's argument that if the league would have gone wrong, if they would have blown up, he would have been the whipping boy. And also, you can leave your options open. And I mean, for example, God forbid he breaks a leg or something.
Yeah, true.
Just leave your options open a little bit. I think probably what will make life easier for everyone is that we've won the league effectively, and he can depart on good terms. But the other thing, Danny, I wanted to ask you about that is, being a Liverpool fan and playing for the club, but is there an element of you've got to park your fandom a little bit while you're a professional and you're playing and make the best decisions for your career, and then you can come back later and be a fan again, but it's while you're playing? Because I think of your friend and one of the Liverpool greats, Steven Gerrard, and look what happened to him. He twice he didn't go to Chelsea. He stayed, and at the end it was ugly. The club treated him abysmally, and he just wanted to stay. And he said it's not about money. And the offer they made him was so bad, they made it about money, it was insulting. And if that happens to a great at the club, what happens if you're Trent? So you got to balance that. I just like your view on that.
I think you do become more business-like in your thinking, especially if you've got good support around you, because the fan part of you is always there, but it can cloud your judgment.
Yeah.
Or it can actually go the other way, where it makes you make the right decision. It makes you think more about the important things in life rather than the business element. So it can work both ways. I was never in a fortunate enough position that Trent's in, or Stevie was in, to be looking at a possible bigger or equal move. Not that Chelsea was equal or bigger, but from a financial but Madrid is a different thing. I always felt honoured because Liverpool was always my dream. I didn't have another dream. I only had a dream to play for Liverpool. I didn't even have a dream to play for England when I was a kid. That wasn't, and I'm not just saying that because that just wasn't a dream.
It was Liverpool and that was it.
Yeah. I do understand from Trent's, I've tried to look at it from a non-fan perspective. And the thing with Trent, he's in this wonderful position that not many players have ever been in. In that he's got arguably the biggest club in the world after him. After winning every possible trophy at the club he supports and grew up at, right? How many people have been in that position?
Well, something Stephen didn't know that, did he?
No, because he hadn't won
and he
the
was the
league.
best player of my lifetime I've seen Liverpool.
Forget the quality of the player.
Yeah.
I'm on about Trent as a football decision rather than a fan. Forget the money. He's getting weighed in wherever. I don't think Trent's going because he's going to get more.
He's doing all right, isn't he? Even yeah.
I've won everything here. I could actually go and win everything there. Yeah. It's a very unusual situation for a player to find himself in at Liverpool Football Club. And that's what some people have missed a little bit. Put yourself in that boat. I know it's hard for fans to do it because they just love Liverpool, and I get it. But from a footballing perspective, imagine he's done, what more can he do? Here, go and do it there as well. He could finish his career, sit back and go, League, Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, Super Cup, blah, blah, blah. There, League, Champions League, blah, blah, blah. In both. Unbelievable opportunity.
Is there any part of you, Tony, that thinks there is a big curveball coming towards the end of the season, and he's seeing the Salah and Van Dijk, the love that they're getting and everything, and he does. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to be very positive
I
here,
would love for him to stay because I think he's such a good player, and he's a really bright, intelligent young man. He's he's just fantastic. I'd love him to stay, and I imagine there's like a 2% chance in my brain I think he'll make a U-turn. But yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because I was born to be a Liverpool fan. I was 30 before going to journalism, so all I did before that was go to the match.
Was it?
And all I wanted to do was go to the match, wherever it was, home and away, all over Europe, and all that. And I have to say, looking at it from my perspective, Real Madrid come calling, you'd be like, it's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. So I can understand the attraction. It's and it's tough. And I mean, for me, it's again, there's parts of it when if he does walk out the door, it's like, don't let the handle bruise your backside, Trent. Good. Well, not even good luck there. he's dead to me until he finishes and comes back.